Hey, welcome back to the channel. Happy to see you again. So I'm doing this video as an update to the previous video with related to the NearStream AMIX40U. I was in contact with their technical support team and just wanted to share all the updates that I received on the product. Very appreciative on how quickly they were able to respond and stay consistent on providing the technical support that I needed to make sure that everything was working properly with this product. All right, so the first update that I want to give is related to connecting the device to the NearSync software. This is software that gives you the ability to do the firmware updates on the device. So as you see, I have it plugged in. Right now, it is connected to the USB on the go. This is the port that I had connected on in the first video. However, in order to connect this to NearStream, you have to connect it to the 5V 1A port, the DCN. This is the port that you actually want to utilize to connect it, and not the USB on the go. The USB on the go is what you'll use when you're actually going to see it in the computer, but you have to switch to the other port for the software connect to NearSync. All right, so I'm just going to connect it up. Right now you see on the screen, it is grayed out as soon as I switch the connection. Give a second for it to reboot. There. Now you see the device is highlighted. It's no longer grayed out. It just turned back on. I can click it. Device update. Oh, you can do another update on the device. Let's go ahead and do that. Updates do take a second, but that's depending on the speed of your internet. All right, now that all the software updates are complete, I'll change the cord, the cable back to the USB on the go, and we'll return to Reaper DAW and see what the updates have done. All right, so I'm back in Reaper. Again, I have now connected the cable to the USB on the go. Gonna go ahead and plug in, connect a good old microphone into input 1. Connect the microphone. There we go. In this case, I'm using a good old Samsung CO2. This requires phantom power. So I'm going to switch mics. Okay, so now I am talking through the NearStream. You see I am getting signal coming in Reaper and on the channel track 21. So the audio is coming in. I have the phantom power engaged, which is why you hear the sound coming in. So one of the first things that I mentioned in the last video was that I did not hear the effects coming in through the USB. That is quickly resolved by making sure that the loopback is enabled. The only way that you'll hear the effects coming through the USB is that you have to have loopback turned on. So now that I have loopback engaged, I will cycle through the settings on the device. So first, let's go back to reverb. Now that I have the reverb section highlighted, I'm going to crank the reverb up, and you should hear that coming in through the USB, and also I can record it into the DAW. Testing, reverb. I'm exaggerating it so that you can definitely hear without a shadow of a doubt. Reverb is being applied. So here's the last thing that I want to highlight as well, and this is one thing that I actually confirmed with NearStream, that this is the desired functionality, or again, the NearStream is designed to function this way. So as you see, again, I have, in this case, I've selected input left on the device, which in this case corresponds to input 1 that I have. As I continue to talk through it, if I switch to input or front right, you still hear me coming through without me having a cable connected to input 2. I confirm with the folks at NearStream that this is just simply how the device is designed. So therefore, that's what's intended. That's the expected behavior from the device. So essentially, input from left to right is essentially going to be coming in through the same channel. So don't think of this as, let's say, channel 1 and then channel 2, where you can select this on different tracks. Simply channel left and right in this case are channel 1, and the two are merged together. Another important thing to note during my feedback or communication with the folks at NearStream, it was regarding the sound that I was getting when I connected this audio interface to my MIDI keyboard controller, which has sounds coming out of it, particularly the Akai MPK Mini Play. Their response was that, unfortunately, maybe some keyboards aren't compatible with the device. I'm assuming it has something to do with the import that I just mentioned, or I shown in Reaper, whereas maybe the sound that's coming through for whatever reason doesn't play too nicely with the imports or inputs on the front of the NearStream. So that's just something to highlight, that again, unfortunately, not all keyboards or things like that, devices that you want to connect in, may not be compatible. But I want to say that the folks over at NearStream and their support team was super helpful in getting back to me on this. I think that's very important. Appreciate your support in getting back to me on all of the points raised in the previous video, which allowed me to give the update here. At this point, so who do I think this device is for? Again, you have two microphone or instrument inputs on the front. Again, it does connect to the computer properly. You have your line outputs for connecting monitors to hear everything. The loopback, which then gives you functionality to hear the effects that are built in coming through on the whatever device you're recording that on. And again, two dedicated headphone jacks here in the front. In my opinion, again, I think this would probably be a very good device for those starting off on podcasting. Again, I've done the firmware updates, which allow for the updates of the gain going in. Perfectly fine. Again, I'm glad that I was able to get that connected. But yeah, that's it. I think this would be a pretty good device, especially for podcasters. On the musician side, I do go back to what I said before. If you're looking to connect it to different keyboards, guitars at the same time, that may be problematic because again, your signal is baked in together all the time, but that's the design of the device. I hope this update was helpful to people. Hope it resolved any questions folks might have had or thought about from just the first video. You can check that video out. It will be here or here. But if this video is all helpful, I hope that you do hit that like button. If you've not already subscribed, please do. And I will check you guys in the next one. Till then, peace.